On direct orders from Vladimir Putin, Russia's top scientists have spent years dissecting the mRNA vaccines rolled out by Pfizer and Moderna. Their conclusion is explosive. These weren't rushed mistakes or corporate cash grabs. They were engineered as military-grade bioweapons. The result of that investigation is a staggering 25,000-page dossier, compiled by Vladimir Putin himself, and now delivered directly into the hands of Donald Trump. Inside those pages lies the accusation that the US mRNA rollout was not about public health policy. It was a globalist coup d'etat, orchestrated by shadowy agencies like DARPA and backed by big pharma titans. Their mission? To deploy a bioweapon years in the making under the cover of a vaccine. And the fallout is already here. Russian scientists allege that this so-called vaccine is driving an unprecedented surge of turbocancers. Aggressive, fast-moving malignancies striking down people across the globe. The cover-up, they warn, runs deep, with governments and corporations working hand in hand to bury the evidence. We're not just talking about botched science, we're talking about crimes against humanity. And according to Russian insiders, this dossier isn't just evidence, it's a weapon in a geopolitical chess game that's about to escalate. Before we dive in, a quick word about our partner, VP.net, the next generation of private browsing. VP.net is the only VPN designed with true zero-logging architecture. That means, unlike other VPNs, it literally cannot track you. So even if governments or bad actors come knocking, there's nothing to hand over. It's that simple. Your data stays yours, period. At the recent Alaska summit with Donald Trump, Putin seized the moment to deliver a meticulously compiled dossier. 25,000 pages of hard evidence gathered by Russia's top medical scientists and intelligence operatives, laying bare the damning truth about the mRNA bioweapons. What does it mean when Russia, not the CDC or FDA, is the one force to dig through US data and hand the White House the real facts and figures? A chilling new review, led by Dr. Angelina Alexievna Silivastova and Professor Oleg Germanovich Makiv of Ural State Medical University, has drawn a direct line between mass mRNA vaccination and an unprecedented surge in global cancer cases. Their study, published in a Russian medical journal after 4 years of analysis, combed through government registries, peer-reviewed literature, and mechanistic studies, with a heavy reliance on US CDC statistics and VAERS reports. The conclusion is devastating. The COVID mRNA vaccine rollout has triggered long-term safety risks, including a dramatic rise in deadly cancers that continues to accelerate. Among the most alarming findings are 2,579 cancer-related adverse events reports in VAERS between late 2020 and August 2022, with particular spikes in ovarian cancer following vaccination. According to the study, ovarian cancer risk may have risen by as much as 1,433-fold after mRNA vaccination. While Western health agencies and media dismiss or bury the evidence, it's Russian scientists who are putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And Putin's 25,000-page dossier, detailing how the bioweapon has unleashed a global surge of turbocancers, is already sending shockwaves through Washington. Just days after Putin personally handed the evidence to Donald Trump during the Alaska summit, whispers of panic are rippling through the halls of power. Especially considering Trump himself has taken an interest recently in discovering the truth about the vaccine rollout.
And he's talking to the senators and talking about really important stuff, and I'm just minding my own business going, I don't know how I got in this room. Well, okay. I'm sitting elbow to elbow with him. It's about an hour into dinner. I hadn't said a word, just been listening. And Trump gets through eating, and you've seen him do this move right here. Yeah. And then wherever in the big boardroom he does this. Okay, that's what he does. He goes, can I ask you a question, John Rich? He never calls me John. John Rich? I look at him, I go, yes, sir. What's the question? He goes, well, you do a lot of big shows. Like, you're an entertainer? Yes, sir. You play for really big crowds? I go, I do. I play for really big crowds for a long time. He goes, well, have you seen these rallies I'm doing? Like, it's 30, 40,000 people. I said, yeah, it's unbelievable. He goes, so here's the question. Why are people booing me at my rallies when I bring up the vaccine? This is the question from the President of the United States. And so, man, I looked at him and I said, okay, I'm going to tell you the answer and you're not going to like it. He goes, okay, what's the answer? You're going to look at me like this? I said, let me start off by saying this. We, the American people, do not trust the people that you were forced to trust at the time when this was happening. Let's start there. And I said, by the people we don't trust, here's who I mean. The FDA, the CDC, the NIH, the WHO, Fauci, and all the rest of them. I said, Mr. President, we consider them to be a bunch of murderous, depopulationist psychopaths.
And his reaction was...
That's a good way to start.
His eyes are, he goes, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Fauci, Gates, Burla, the power players of the vaccine empire, are squarely in Putin's crosshairs, and he is demanding they face consequences. According to the Russian president, the mRNA plot didn't come from science or medicine. It was born deep inside the US deep state, with military-linked agencies steering the agenda. Putin claims the so-called vaccine had been in development since at least 2011, maybe even earlier, long before the pandemic provided the perfect cover for its global release. And most importantly, he says he has the evidence to prove it. That evidence is now in Donald Trump's hands.
Ведь биологическое оружие, если посчитать, какой ущерб нанес ковид, то, наверное, будем говорить, за 2 года, да?
Ну, основная такая пандемия
да,
2 года шла.
То даже ее нельзя сравнить с ущербом, который был во Вторую мировую войну. Это в десятки раз больше. Зато выгодоприобретатели той же Big Pharma.
Вы имеете в виду фармацевтические все компании?
Компании, которые в основном находятся у нас там в Соединенных Штатах, это там колоссальные. Как-то вот так.
То есть вопрос...
Вопрос стоит.
Да.
Вопросы
Ответ
мы задаем.
понятен.
Мы же передаем документы. Вот характерна реакция Соединенных Штатов Америки, про которую мы говорим. Ни одного опровержения тем документам, которые мы предъявили, не было. Мы передали документы, это более, наверное, 2000 листов в Организацию Объединенных Наций.
Какой ответ пришел?
У нас, как правило, 2 ответа. Один ответ происходит в Соединенных Штатах Америки. У них же он стандартный. Все, что не делается, все делается в интересах национальной безопасности Соединенных Штатов. И нам надо доверять.
Слепо доверять.
Да, слепо доверять. Там политика глобального биологического контроля. Они поняли, что это работает, что посредством искусственно создаваемых таких кризисных ситуаций биологического характера можно управлять миром. Ведь ничего бесплатно они не делают.
Just weeks before Russia's dossier dropped, the McCullough Foundation released its hybrid harms hypothesis. The message is blunt. Repeated COVID infections and mRNA shots are working together to drive chronic illness, sudden deaths, and soaring excess mortality worldwide. The study shows how spike protein persistence and immune disruption are trapping vaccinated populations in a cycle of disease. The numbers don't lie. Countries with the highest mRNA uptake, from Germany to the UK, are still seeing abnormally high death rates. One analysis of 145 nations even linked vaccination programs to 291% more cases and 205% more deaths than expected. These findings mirror Russia's own review, pointing to a global pattern officials refuse to admit. If true, humanity is staring down a slow-motion health crisis, cancer, autoimmune disease, premature death, perhaps the greatest medical and political scandal in history. But even that may not be the darkest revelation, because Russia's investigation has uncovered something more disturbing: mRNA transferring from the vaccinated to the unvaccinated through close contact, including sex. We have the details coming up next.